ways to rewrite these beliefs. We have to recognize we've been programmed so we can recover our power by rewriting the programs of limitation and putting in the programs of our abilities so that our biology can live up to its full potential.
My next guest is from earlier in my lifetime. He has brought forward the message of how our thoughts create our reality. Here is some vintage film from over 60 years ago. Meet Napoleon Hill.
And now, may I request that you forget all your problems and just relax while I bring you the master key with which you may unlock the door to any opportunity that your mind can conceive. When I first heard Andrew Carnegie describe this natural law, which makes it possible for you and I and everyone else to write his own price tag in life and attain it, I became so enthused over it that I began to search for the power back of it, a power which is greater than poverty, greater than the lack of education, greater than all of your fears and superstitions combined. It is the power to take possession of your own mind and direct it to whatever ends you may desire. My search led me to the study of the spiritual forces with which all of us are blessed. And it was in this field that I came upon a clue which has enabled me to help millions of people to find their earthly destinies. Everyone, said Mr. Carnegie, comes to the earth plane blessed with the privilege of controlling his mind power and directing it to whatever ends he may choose. But, he continued, everyone brings over with him at birth the equivalent of 2 sealed envelopes, one of which is clearly labeled, the riches you may enjoy if you take possession of your own mind and direct it to ends of your own choice. And the other is labeled, the penalties you must pay if you neglect to take possession of your mind and direct it. And now let me reveal to you the contents of those 2 sealed envelopes. In the one labeled riches is this list of blessings. 1, sound health. 2, peace of mind. 3, a labor of love of your own choice. 4, freedom from fear and worry. 5, a positive mental attitude. 6, material riches of your own choice and quantity. In the sealed envelope labeled penalties, Mr. Carnegie continued, is this list of the prices one must pay for neglecting to take possession of his own mind. 1, ill health. 2, fear and worry. 3, indecision and doubt. 4, frustration and discouragement throughout life. 5, poverty and want. 6, and a whole flock of evils consisting of envy, greed, jealousy, anger, hatred, and superstition. Psychologists have discovered a natural law which is the very foundation of all personal successes. And I can describe it to you in one short sentence so you can understand it. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve.
When I began speaking at medical conferences about my experience with cancer patients and the relationship between mind and body, the reaction of other doctors was quite a surprise. They were very angry with me over my experience. I remember one asking me at the end of a conference, "Are you telling us that we're doing it wrong?" I have found that closed minds do not want to hear or accept anything new if you introduce them to new concepts. It is as if you are shattering their long-held beliefs, whether they're religious or scientific. They prefer to hold on even when others have seen the truth placed before their eyes. As Shakespeare said, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Try opening your mind up just a little. The slightest change in perspective can alter your entire life.
The power of the human heart is the next great frontier. It's a power that has been discounted and overlooked since science began, largely 300 years ago. It is the human heart, the very first organ that forms in our bodies when we're in our mother's womb. Now, to many people, when we think of a heart, we think simply of a pump that moves blood through our bodies. And while that is an important function, what the studies are showing is that it may be the least of what our hearts do. That our hearts are actually the master organ that send the signals to our brain that either affirm our health and our healing or become the obstacle between us and our healing. This is a key, and it's a subtle key, but it's a powerful key. The signal that the heart sends to the brain is based upon the way we feel. The way we feel in our bodies and about our world. When we feel a sense of well-being and safe, for example, that is one quality of the signal our heart sends to our brain, and based upon that signal, our brain sends the chemicals into our bodies that affirms and sustains that healing. And what the studies are showing is that in the presence of those kinds of experiences based on what we would call appreciation or gratitude, care, compassion, those are the quality of feelings that trigger this experience in our hearts that establishes the coherence between our heart and our brain. It's during these times that our brain tells our bodies to create what we would call a healing chemistry in our bodies.
I think that we need to be more serious about the power and our responsibility when it comes to spiritual healing. You know, when Einstein said we will not solve the problems of the world from the level of thinking we were at when we created them. And the way this is spoken of spiritually is the idea that enlightenment begins as an intellectual abstract concept, but then it has to make that journey without distance from the head to the heart.
There is a personal power in you that is only accessible when you move from your head into your heart, into your core. When we are accessing our gut feelings and what we feel in our personal space, what we feel in our hearts, we are accessing the infinite possibility that is available to us. When we move into our heads, we automatically move into a world of limitation, a world that is based upon what we think we should be doing, thinking, saying, feeling. We move in a way in life that does not allow us to actually feel what we choose. So to find personal power, to find that unlimited access to the ability to self-heal, we must move from our intellect and into what is given to us at birth, our pure presence. Being present with ourselves is what allows us to move in a way that our path unfolds automatically.
There were studies that were done in a number of medical institutions in the late 1990s, the early 2000s. And these were some of the first studies that were actually linking human emotion with the heart and very specific kinds of emotion. When we talk about heart disease, the hardening of the arteries, high cholesterol, the plate buildup, high blood pressure, when the scientists began to look closely and cross these traditional boundaries, they found that those were specific examples that fall under the umbrella of an emotion that we call hurt. Hurt. And precisely unresolved hurt. So I don't want to leave you with the sense that experiencing hurt is a bad thing in our lives. It's not, as long as we recognize that hurt that we feel, whether it's the hurt from the loss of our loved ones or the loss of a way of life, something that has disappointed us, that hurt is a signal inviting us to reconcile and resolve that feeling. It's the unresolved hurt.
So the more loving I can be with myself, the more likely I am to access this heart space. And it is in this heart space that my intuitions and my inspirations and my gut feelings and the wisdom that I have inherited from the ages come together. And in that heart space is where we allow ourselves to access our unlimited power and our infinite possibility.
When you stop resisting your feelings, you will see that they offer you a source of wisdom and an opportunity for nourishment and growth. So do not numb your feelings or distract yourself, but define your experience and see how it can become your teacher. And then life challenges become a blessing. Listen to what your body is telling you. This is why Mother Nature gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. My advice? Let go of the hurt, abandon the wounds of the past, and focus on creating a great today. Communicate. You will live a longer, healthier life if you express your feelings, even if it is in a journal. So when decisions must be made, let your heart make up your mind.
Love is a feeling that doesn't require another human at all. I mean, you could go outside and look at a beautiful landscape, and I mean, that just blows your mind, and you go, oh my God, you just feel it. Love is a feeling that the system, your biology, is taking whatever you're looking at, your interpretation, and saying that whatever that thing is, that is so in harmony with me, that I will release the chemistry of harmony. So love is like a beautiful sine wave, a beautiful, nice, smooth wave like this. And I go, what's fear? And I go, oh, fear is a choppy line like that. And I say, so you can feel the choppy line, you can feel the smooth line. And the smooth line love is what you're feeling are the emotional chemicals that say, what I'm interpreting in this world around me is fully supportive and in harmony with the desires and wishes of my life.
One of the most powerful tools, and not one that the mind would think of, is self-love. Love is what is happening constantly. The question is, to what degree am I allowing myself to participate in it? We've always associated feeling loved by being loved by something outside of ourselves. And when we do that, we constantly set ourselves in a state of fear. What happens if you stop loving me? What happens if I never find someone to love me? Well, no one ever did love me. My parents didn't love me, my family, siblings didn't love me. All kinds of absence of love has been existing. In the empowered state that you actually are, what do you think you were interested in when you came into this life and you landed in those kinds of circumstances? You must have been interested in finding it in there and bringing it out in some way. When it wasn't delivered or isn't consistently delivered today, there's a reason for that. And when we begin embracing that perspective, we begin to access our empowerment.
I think many people are coming to understand the value and the importance of serious spiritual practice. By that I mean prayer, meditation that is not just relaxation and contemplation, but something that includes a mantra of sorts, whether it's Buddhist meditation, Transcendental meditation, the workbook of A Course in Miracles. There are many meditation paths, but a serious meditation path actually changes your brainwave patterns. And that is what dismantles, and nothing less than that, by the way. That is the zone, that is the realm, which is beyond the intellectual, where these horrifyingly destructive, even to the point of the creation of physical illness, are dismantled. Those thought forms are dismantled. And the love of self and others becomes not just a concept, but a living and an operational reality.
When we begin to listen to what I actually want, what I actually choose, what I'm actually feeling, how I would have it be if I could have it any way I wanted, and we begin to honor that, even in tiny little ways, we begin to build a life expression that is based upon self-love. Does it mean that you have to take a vacation for yourself or go take a bubble bath and light some candles? Is that what it means to self-love? Yes, and you can also do it while you're driving down the road in your car. You can also do it when